Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great privilege as one of the leadership team at Catholic Education Office for Ernie Christie and myself to present to you some of the face of teaching and certainly the grace of teaching from some of our schools from across the diocese. I'm going to let them do the talking. The session is Grace of Teaching, Innovative Ideas. And I'd like you to welcome from St. Francis School, Ewendon, Glenda's Grace and Alex Bluck, Ursula Ferguson from Holy Spirit School here in Townsville, Donnelly O'Brien and Geraldine Fever from Southern Cross Catholic School here in Townsville, as they present for us a Grace of Teaching session. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Glenda's Grace.
And my name is Alexander Block.
Alexander, nice and official.
Alexander today.
Our video speaks for itself. I know at the start of the day you were asked to turn your phone off, but we're actually encouraging you to get your phones out. So if you have them, we're not offended if you're using them. Thanks. Oh, hi. I'm Glenda's Grace. I'm the principal of St. Francis School in Ewendon.
And I'm Alex Block, and I'm the Year 5, 6, 7 teacher at St. Francis School, Ewendon.
Before we begin today's presentation, we encourage you to
Get out your phones!
Get onto Facebook.
Find our page, St. Francis School, Ewendon.
You'll find on our page today's presentation.
Feel free to leave comments, like our page, and give us heaps of feedback.
So sit back and enjoy. Each day, every school across the Townsville Diocese seems to have something fabulous going on in their own school. How does your school celebrate what's right and share it with their own community? At St. Francis School in Ewendon, we use Facebook as a platform to share our graceful moments with our community. Here's how we do it. Every Friday is Flashback Friday, where we share pictures from the past. Photos are chosen randomly each week, showcasing graceful moments from our school's past. Likers to our page are encouraged to tag people they know or leave comments or memories relating to each picture. Like every Catholic school across our diocese, Masses and liturgies are graceful moments shared with our school and parish communities. At St. Francis, photos are taken at every Mass and every liturgy held, and these photos are posted on our Facebook page. Again, like every other school, sports carnivals feature prominently throughout the school year. Photos are again taken at these events and uploaded on our Facebook page.
In 2012, I was involved in an inquiry-based learning journey. The community played an integral role in students' culminating activities, and again Facebook provided the perfect platform to share these graceful moments with the school and a wider audience. Facebook was used to post reminders leading up to events, and photos of these events were posted immediately after their conclusion. In anticipation of our culminating activity, the Blessing of the Pets, an event which had since passed from our school and was being revitalized, an album was created using scanned pictures and uploaded to Facebook. This album immediately went viral and attracted many excited past members of our school community to our page. As part of my own culminating activity, I produced a vodcast to be presented at the final workshop. As well as sharing this graceful moment with workshop peers, the vodcast was uploaded to Facebook and shared concurrently with the entire school community. This was the graceful moment which was presented and shared. A Telstar model was utilized to drive this unit, and a class website was developed accordingly as the main resource for student learning. During the tune-in phase, we began by engaging in an artifact display. The artifacts were photos which had been scanned and laminated and were taken from the old Blessing of the Pets tradition, which had since passed from the school. The students conversed in deep conversation on what had changed and what had stayed the same in our school before coming up with a plan to bring back the St. Francis Feast Day with the same old tradition.
When I usually go to the discos with a mate, there used to be a big red thing. It was like a frame of a bus but painted red, and we used to have fires all over it.
Yeah. So that part of the playground has changed because do we have monkey bars in our playground, Maggie? Do we have monkey bars where hold that photo in, please, Justin? Do we have monkey bars outside in our playgrounds, please, still, Meg? But are they the same as that though, Bridie? No, it's changed, hasn't it?
Monkey bars are over.
Yeah, so that's definitely changed. So yes, we still have monkey bars, Meg, but it's actually changed location, hasn't it? Justin?
Like that kind of day, like you might have a sub day or you might have a pet day.
Excellent. So we can have a pet day. I might start writing these notes down.
Or a different kind of day, like big feast day or.
Excellent. So I'm liking these words, dressing up, pet day. Fantastic answers, Justin. A feast day.
Yeah.
What's a feast exactly, Justin?
Like you cook all the food, then you have some.
Excellent. And do we just do that for any occasion? Only special ones. Well
Students then visited woolwisher.com from the newly developed class website to come up with what they think they know and what they would like to know about St. Francis Day. These were then collated and discussed, and the sub-questions were developed as a result. The sort phase of the unit was used to collaborate as a class to come up with what information would be necessary to have a successful feast day. Using Google Forms, we developed a survey as a class, which included questions such as, what activities would you like to see as part of the day, and what pet are you intending to bring in? This survey was emailed to every member of the school. The data was then collated, and the implications of its results on our pet day discussed thoroughly.
What pet do you intend on bringing in? Dakota, I'm listening to Lawson now. So what pet are you intending on bringing in, Lawson?
I don't know what pets, my dad told me to potty, so it might be the potty.
Yep, so the potty calves? Yeah, and your mum's already discussed that actually. So let's put
I think many people would.
calf, but that doesn't matter though, does it, Danielle? Because that way we'll find out what pets will be the most popular.
Bringing back this feast day required the entire school community, parish, and other members on board, and our planning for the day reflected this during the ACT phase of our inquiry. First, a letter inviting the Sisters of the Good Samaritan to come bless our pets was delivered. As the big day commenced, a great turnout of parents and animals was witnessed, with the liturgy hosted by the year 3-4. All the pets were blessed, and a day of St. Francis-related activities ensued.
I brought in my dog Dusty. Brought in Nibbles, my pet goat. My pet dog's name is Jack.
Dog blessed was Digit. My dog's name is Benji and he was blessed. My guinea pig's name was Garfield. I brought him in and he got blessed.
On St. Francis Day, I brought my dog called Skipper.
St. Francis Day, I brought Chico.
I brought my pet cat. His name is Rocky, and he got blessed.
As part of our whole school Carbon Kids session on Friday, the students led a lesson on a question developed by them as part of the feast day. How can we enact the message of St. Francis in our school led this particular inquiry, and after learning how St. Francis cared for the environment, we came up with ways in which to look after our school environment and took action by completing tasks such as cleaning and watering plants. After participating in this project over the past year, I have developed many beliefs about IBL. Firstly, I believe that it caters for a diverse range of learners and learning needs. It lends itself to ICT integration. It's engaging for the students and the teachers. It gives the students ownership of their learning. And finally, it demonstrates lifelong learning to our students. I look forward to continuing an IBL approach in my future teaching practices.
As part of our Innovators Grant in 2012, our entire school travelled to Gumbaroo for a camp. The premise of this grant was to explore ways technology could be used in the environment. While there, students and groups used iPads to fill in progressive poems about their current surroundings. They were immediately shared with parents and the community back home using Facebook. Here is one of the poems that the students created.
Bloomer's population is very small, but in Hughenden there's more and more.
Smell the fresh air, but you won't see a bear.
Things can be sparky and things can be smooth.
You'll find a lot of nocturnal creatures having a snooze. Nocturnal creatures come out at night. Just make sure they don't bite when they're going to the red light.
The trees are tall and green as well as pristine.
The grass is many shades of green and it is lovely to be seen.
When you walk through the forest, you'll see lots of ferns and see them around the bends and the turns. Here in Maluma, it's nice and cool. We like it here more than school.
In 2012, ABC Open visited our school to film a segment on a day in the life of a school leader. This film was also uploaded on our Facebook page and shared with our community.
If you had told me when I first started teaching that I would be a principal by the time I was 35, I would have thought you were fully having me on.
Our principal has short brown hair with red. She wears lots of colourful dresses every day. And nails are always painted and long. And her shoes are always high heels. It's so beautiful.
For me, the most important part of my role this year is to ensure that we have a happy school. Grades are important as well, and that's something that I will start to focus on. For me this year it has been more of a learning curve, just getting used to the school, how things are run here and everything. But yeah, just really making sure that we have a nice, happy, friendly, welcoming environment. That the kids are happy to come to school, the staff are happy to come to school. Yeah, happiness is infectious and contagious. When I get to school, I usually write up on the whiteboard what the day is going to entail, if we have visitors coming for the day, if we have any special events on for the day.
I'm just about to upload a picture onto our Facebook page. Basically everyone has a smartphone, everyone has Facebook connected to it. I generally try and put 2, maybe 3 things on there a day, as well as sending out communication as well. It's just another way to get us out there. It's 8:45, it's time for me to go out and greet the children good morning.
I probably have 2 favourite parts of the day. One of them is my morning greeting, just coming out and just seeing the kids each morning, usually big smiles because they're just so happy to be here. Boys and girls, have a great day, enjoy the pool. I think it's going to be lovely today, isn't it? You have to walk to the pool with shoes on though. You are, okay.
Shannon, I'm just going to check on the kids at the pool. I've got my mobile if you need me.
Oh, yeah, they know it's me.
I'm very passionate about learning myself, and
I think it's important for all of us to be lifelong learners. I particularly like with computers and that if kids are able to show me something new that I've never come across, I get very excited by that, and I think they get excited to see that they're teaching me something new as well, so it's not always me teaching them something new. I think it's important for kids to see that all adults are constantly learning. We're fortunate enough to have young staff as well who are quite active in the community as well, so I believe they're very good role models for our students.
My name is Alex Block, and I'm 24 years old, and I'm actually a Huonan local who's returned here as a first year teacher. My first meeting with Glenda was very informal, but she had lots of questions for me, and my question for her was, what are your expectations of me? And her very basic but very direct answer was just to try and be happy and bring that happy vibe into our school.
Thursday is our newsletter day, so I'm just finishing off my letter that I put on the front page of the newsletter, and once that's done we will print our newsletters out. We also publish it to our website and we publish it to our Facebook page as well.
My name is Kyle Dighton.
My name is Aiden Anderson.
My name is Ishmael Rita.
My name is Lachlan Heffernan.
Our principal works very hard for our school. Work.
Yeah.
That's what
He works hard. He gives us new equipment and
The grass, the sandpit, the sign on the back. She's very fun, outgoing, and yeah, she just makes you laugh 24/7.
she wears like
Gourmet
black heels.
I put the banana peel in the bin, in these special bins.
Hey, what are we going to do with the worm pea?
Go and put it in the garden.
So what might we need to put with it?
Water.
That's right. So a little bit of water and then you can go and put it on the plants. Monday's a pupil free day. So the Winton staff and the Huonan staff are meeting here. QSA will be dialing in. QSA is the Queensland Studies Authority. So part of Monday's pupil free day is looking at their Australian curriculum and looking at assessment. So someone in Brisbane will be dialing into us here in Huonan.
I guess my second favourite part of the day is the end of the day. The 3 o'clock sitting on the front stairs in the summer and just, saying goodbye to the kids.
I like this because some parents are still at work.
Glenda is a very approachable person, and that is really good to have in such a high leadership role. And being a first year teacher, having that approachability is excellent, so you can discuss different things with her, run ideas past her with curriculum and planning, and that is really good. And her enthusiasm and her passion for what she does shows in her responses and her willingness to help out.
I find myself, I don't see things as problems, I see them as challenges, and it excites me to come across a new challenge, I guess.
I get to the end of the day, I walk around the school, make sure it's all locked up, all lights are off, aircon's off, usually shut my computer down, turn the light off, walk out and walk home. Get home, kick those gourmet shoes off and chill on the couch usually. Usually pretty exhausted by the time I get home.
Welcome back. We hope you have enjoyed watching how we share our graceful moments with our community.
If you haven't done so already,
Get out your phone
and leave us a comment.
Today, Bishop Michael spoke about an openness to new learning. This is my openness to new learning, Bishop Michael, and I'm bringing all my friends along on the ride with me. Hang on tight. I think it's going to get very rocky. A speaker this morning spoke about it being very difficult to see people out in the audience. My goodness, she's right. I can't see anything. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ursula Ferguson, and I teach prep at Holy Spirit School. I love teaching, especially the last 2 weeks. Who wouldn't? And Father Richard, if you're still in the room, I'd just like to say I like my children. And yes, I did smile on the first day, and no, I haven't stopped smiling since. This is my 5th year of teaching, and for me, the honeymoon isn't over. I hope it never will be. Last year, I participated in the IBL, Inquiry-Based Learning Project, offered through TCEO. While it was challenging, especially for me developing ICT skills, just ask my colleagues, my family, my friends. They'll all tell you. In fact, these 2 pictures tell the story very well. However, it was an experience that my students and I took on with great enthusiasm and rigour, and we thoroughly enjoyed it. I was amazed and in awe of what my students could produce. Thank you for those lights turned down, that's much better. Looking back now, it is clear to see moments of grace embedded deep in the very heart of the project. Today's presentation is an opportunity to share with you some of those moments. While the brief for today was simple, create a 15-minute presentation highlighting moments of grace experienced through the IBL project, the task itself, well, that was somewhat challenging. What are moments of grace? What do they look like? How do you define grace? And how do we start afresh from Christ? What does that actually mean for us as teachers in Catholic schools in the 21st century? These were the questions I needed an answer to answer in order to complete the task for today. So, in good IBL fashion, I set out to find the answers. And can I just say a very big thank you to all those people I hounded and hounded and hounded to get some answers. Some of those people are still my friends. I love this little gadget, it's so good. Many defined grace as being a gift. Gifts of love, hope, courage. Gifts from God with no strings attached. Since becoming a teacher, I cannot hear the parable of the sowing of the seeds, Matthew 13, without thinking of today's classroom. A hope and belief in your students. What better gift for teachers in today's times? Oscar Romero tells us that this is what we, as teachers, are all about. It's what drives us. We plant the seeds that we hope and believe will one day grow. As Bishop Romero says, we cannot do everything, and there is a sense of liberation in realizing that. This enables us to do something and to do it well. It may be incomplete, but it is a beginning, a step along the way. an opportunity for the Lord's grace to enter and do the rest. Inquiry-based learning is like that. Inquiry-based learning is a great way to plant the seeds. Seeds are planted when students are working together to achieve one common goal. Sometimes a little tricky in prep. Seeds are planted when students are listening to everyone's ideas, not just the teachers, not just your best friends, but everyone's ideas. Seeds are planted when students are willing to try the difficult, things they're unsure of. And when students are willing to try it someone else's way, the seeds are planted. Not always looking good in prep when we attempt those sorts of things, but we try. And although we may never see those seeds develop, we give our best teaching to all in our classrooms, in the hope that they will indeed grow and grow and grow and be filled with the grace of God. Let's give the final word to the preppies. Oh, excuse me, I did leave out probably the most important thing. Seeds are planted when students are given real-world problems to solve. And that's what the preps did with their IBL project. Here's a snapshot of what IBL looked like in Prep B 2012. It was winter. The children were trying to sit on the cement rather than the seats to catch the sun to keep warm. We talked about whether we could rearrange the seats. We looked at how we could measure the seats. What could we measure them with? Then the children chose their own measuring devices from a selection of equipment. Sorry, we'll just stop that for a moment, thank you. They first drew a plan of the area and they put in 1 or 2 landmarks. They then measured the seats and they tried to work out different arrangements where all 5 seats would fit into the most sunniest area. They decided in their groups which plan would be the one to put forward. After testing the 5 group proposals, the class voted on the best. We then rearranged the seats, and as you will hear from one of our teachers, the new arrangement has made a real difference in our lunch area. Now we'll hear from those preppies. What did you find out, Lucas?
It'll be right there. Do you like the way that we rearrange the seats?
Near your classroom?
Yeah.
I love the way you've rearranged the seats. It's much better now because you're getting the sun in winter time.
Yeah.
So everybody was keeping nice and warm. I also like that the way they are now, everybody is facing each other and can see each other and talk to each other, and there is a lot more room for people to spread out and more room for people to walk past when they're going through to the other classrooms.
Thank you, sweetie.
It's a pleasure. Well done.
The measuring was easy, but when we came up to our plane, it was a bit hard. And we had to try and work out where could we move the chairs, and we had to move in different directions of the first time we had it. I like measuring how short it was and how long it was. I liked it how we had to quite measure because I love measuring. So what we did is to do it we had to get a block and we measured how long it was so it could fit.
That was IBL in our classroom last year. I can't wait for this year. May we all continue to give our children opportunities to make a difference in the world in this year of grace. Thank you.
How lucky are we? As teachers, we get to see the face of God every single day in the face of our colleagues and the students we teach. Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Donnelly O'Brien, and I'm presenting today with Geraldine Fever. We are both teachers at Southern Cross Catholic School, Annandale. Our IBL journey began about 3 years ago. We heard about this new project that was being offered by CEO, and it had helped teachers to introduce inquiries-based learning, IBL, to their classrooms. We thought about it for a couple of years, and we finally joined the project last year. and our education in IBL practices began. Jerry and I were teaching Year 5 at the time, and we were really lucky that the students we were teaching had actually had teachers the previous year that had also done the project. So IBL wasn't new to them. After we attended the first session, I won't lie, we were a bit apprehensive. Firstly, it looked like a lot of work, and we started to think this is far too hard for us, what have we got ourselves into? But after a good night's sleep and a couple of long discussions, we decided that we could definitely see the many benefits that could be gained through using this teaching method. Firstly, IBL is very student-centred. The teacher is just the facilitator. Sometimes as you're walking around the class, you realise that the learning would be going on even if you weren't there. This is great because it enables the students to become much more active in their learning, and it also enables them to learn skills that helps them to learn how to learn. Secondly, when using IBL, the students become active in planning their learning. The teacher comes up with the big question and the topic that's going to be taught, but after that, the questions for the actual unit come straight from the students. This is really good because the students actually enjoy learning because they're no longer learning what I want them to learn, they're learning what they themselves want to learn. Finally, and this one a lot of teachers will probably say is not an advantage or not a good thing, the students work in groups and pairs a lot. I know what you're thinking, noise. And I won't lie, you'll see in our video in a moment, it can be quite noisy. But the thing about this noise is that you see some wonderful things happening in your classroom. It's absolutely fascinating to watch the great learning interactions that take place. Sometimes the most unlikely partnerships form, and people that you never dreamed would get along are there teaching each other. It's also interesting to see how the students become accountable not only for their own learning, but the learning for the other people in the class. Anyway, a famous person once said that a picture is worth 1,000 words. So rather than talking to you about IBL, I would now like to show you a combination of Jerry and my vodcast, which will show you how effective and enjoyable this teaching method is for both teachers and students.
What's your question?
Things to measure maths.
Right, scales, good boy. Well done, Jack. Right, what's your question here? Sorry, big voice? So what sort of things do you need to remember when you're measuring maths? What do you reckon? Beautiful. So work out what each line's worth. Well done.
It's not deep enough the water. That'll be about it. 1 litre.
Here to try and solve the problem.
We're converting them all into centimetres.
Right, why'd you do that?
We don't know. We're just trying it to see if it works.
Okay. How many cubes were there?
9.
Good girl. Good boy, Lane.
I'm going to tell you about my grandfather, William Henry Groom. William Groom was a convict. He was sent to Sydney in 1849. He was sent on the Hashman for stealing. Naughty boy, shouldn't do that. William was born in 1833. In 1859, he got a pardon and got married. He became Toowoomba's first mayor. My grandfather had 7 children. He also owned the Royal Hotel in Toowoomba.
My name is Edward Robertson and I'd now like to tell you a bit about my life. I was born in Yorkshire, England in 1754 and I died in Australia on the 6th of June 1820 at the age of 66. I was sentenced to death but then it got changed to transportation for life. I came to Australia aboard the Admiral Barrington. When I was back in England, I was convicted of a number of offences. I was a compulsive petty thief and I had 14 counts of stealing. I came to Australia single, but then I soon married Mary Harrison and together we had 7 children, 2 boys and 5 girls. Once I got my ticket to leave, I became a Hawkesbury pioneer, the owner of Winstall Grazing Sheep and also the owner of 2 hotels, one in Parramatta and the other one in...
Well, we have to find, we're doing a test and we have to find our own questions.
Do you think it's a good idea writing your own test paper?
Yes.
Why is it good?
Because when the teacher does it, you might not understand it that much, or they might put things that are a bit hard for you, but everyone in your class we all know the same things.
Jamaica. I came 3rd, won a bronze medal. And in 1970, I won the gold medal in Edinburgh. In Scotland.
So Danielle, last term when we did our maths, we did it all as IBL. So there was lots of asking questions and finding answers. What was the best thing about learning that way?
We got to work as a group and hear other people's opinions, not just ours, and have a variety of different answers.
Yep. What about the people that maybe were struggling with learning? Why is it good for them?
They would have got help by other people and maybe learn new strategies that might help them do better next time and understand it better.
Yeah. Do you think it's a good way to learn?
Yes.
Yep. Jacob,
Okay.
do you like learning about maths like this?
Yeah.
Why is it good when you do your problem-solving activities?
Because it makes you learn more and figure things out.
Is it good working in a group?
Yeah.
Why is it good to work in a group?
Because you can all work together and work it all out together.
And sometimes if you don't know what to do, does it help when you've got a friend there that does know? Is it a good way to learn maths the way we're doing it at the moment?
Yes.
Why is it good to learn in groups?
Because you get to hear what everyone's thinking about and what other people's opinions are.
Sarah, so
chosen to work with a partner?
Yes.
Why did you choose a partner?
Because it gives a better understanding of the picture if we both work on it.
What about you, Bev?
Well, I think the same because when you can do it, you can use both your brains. So it's like you're taking your information and sharing it with another person.
And you're doing a piece of artwork, is that?
Yeah.
Thank you. The video clip highlights how implementing inquiry-based learning into our classrooms has created a new atmosphere within the room. Students were keen and actively engaged in learning. There was laughter and many small conversations occurring as students interacted with each other and became accountable for their own learning, as well as giving motivation to fellow students. There is the realization that there is more than one teacher in our lives, as we are learning from many sources: family, books, internet, peers. The teacher became a facilitator for learning, as students engaged and explored a variety of topics in their search to answer student-initiated questions. Small group and class activities sparked individual interests and motivated students with a desire to want to know more. As seen in the clip, a variety of ideas were unearthed, with the understanding that there may be more than one solution to answer the question. An inquiry-based classroom allows for creativity, as students are given the opportunity to present their findings in different ways, such as role plays. The students in our classrooms were keen to share their knowledge with their peers as well as their families. Partner and group work opportunities allowed students to trial their ideas in an open and accepting learning environment. Struggling learners developed confidence to have a go as they are able to listen and learn from their peers, as well as contribute to group activities. Inquiry-based learning activities brought out the uniqueness of each child and the gifts and knowledge they have to offer others. There were many grace-filled moments as students developed a sense of awe and wonder about our world and each other. It's not only the students that we're developing, but ourselves as teachers. We need to look within each child and see the grace of God working to help each of us grow. And as we've heard today already, we need to be open to the graces around and within us. Thank you for allowing us to share our experiences.